Sothera the Super Void. All right, so this is just the like way better Grave Pact, but then it just gets horrible here at the end. So. And we're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rollsicle. I'm one of the hosts here at the channel. My lovely co-host Ashley is out in the living room. I'm Nathaniel, the other co-host, who's going through all of this reactions and review of the set of Edge of Eternities, specifically the draft set, because I love draft and limited, and I want to get my opinions out there, but I do play a lot of constructed as well, so I'm kind of giving my opinions on that as well. We're doing them by color, so we did colorless and multicolor to begin with, then we did white, then we did blue, now we're doing black, then red, then green, and that will be Friday by the time the green one comes out. So if you haven't checked out the other ones, you should. They're up on the channel. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Stay tuned for all of this magic content. We got some other TTRPG stuff that might be coming out. We do a lot of video games, live streaming, all sorts of stuff, and we'd love to have you join our little family of nerds. That being said, these are long videos, and we're going to jump right into them because, by golly, there's a lot of cards to go through. We are starting out with a mythic Alpharel Stone Chosen 3 and 2 black. Stone Chosen. I don't know why I said chosen. 3 and 2 black Human Cleric 3/3. Ward, discard a card at random, which is... that's a fun ward. All right, whenever it attacks, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield... Lord. Whenever he attacks, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn, defending player loses half their life rounded up. Oh boy. That's powerful. That being said, I'm going to lie, at 5 mana, this is coming out pretty late. Now, that doesn't mean the game's over. This is still going to be a very powerful card. And I think in Constructed, this thing's going to go crazy. But I think in Limited, it probably sits around like a 7, okay? Which is very good, but 5 mana 3/3, you got to be careful, right? Because you're probably going to get one trigger on this, and then it's going to die. So just keep that in mind. Arch Enemy's Charm, 3 black. Choose one. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Return 1 or 2 target creatures and or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to your hand. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. It gains lifelink until end of turn. Honestly, I like these charms. They give you some variability. I think all of those effects could be useful, and the variability is nice. 3 black is going to be tough. You need to make sure you're only in 2 colors, and black is the heavier of them. If so, I'll give it around like a 5 or 6. I think. Probably 5. Beamsaw Prospector. 1 and a black, 2/1, Human Artificer. When it dies, create a lander. Sure. I don't think that's great. This can station, though, so it's okay. It's probably going to land between a 3 and a 4. Blade of the Swarm. 4 mana, Insect. 3/1. That's not great. Whenever this creature enters, choose one. Put 2 +1. Okay, so it can enter as a 5/3, which is more like it. Or put target exile card with warp on the bottom of its owner's library. Oh, so you can like stop someone from getting their exile card. But that's actually really interesting. I like that effect. Because of that, I want to give it a higher score, but this probably sits around a 3. All right. Coral of the Void. Corral? I don't know. Anyways. 3 and a black aura. Enchant creature you control. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, put target creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this aura unless a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn. So you got to be getting rid of stuff. But if you can, this is really broken. In Constructed, this is insane. In Limited, I think this is probably still pretty good, but you're going to have something to hit with it, and it's 4 mana, kind of do nothing when it enters. You got to have the creature to attach it to, so it probably lands between a 4 and a 5 for me in Limited. Comet Crawler, 2 and a black, Insect Horror, 2/3, lifelink. Whenever this creature attacks, you may sack another creature or artifact. If you do, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. I mean, that's fine, so it becomes a 4/3 lifelinker, but doesn't land great for me between a 2 and a 3. Dark Endurance, 1 and a black. The spell costs 1 less to cast if it targets a blocking creature. Okay, sure. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible. Oh, nice. A little bit of combat trick that might be down to a single black. That's not what we tend to see, so I like seeing that, but I don't think it's super powerful. So it probably lands around a 3. Decode Transmissions. 2 and a black sorcery. Draw 2, lose 2. Fine. I like drawing cards in Limited. If a non-land permanent left or is warped, instead you draw 2 cards. Each opponent loses 2 life. That's very powerful. I like that a lot more. This is very good to replace even like a Read the Bones, I think is what it is, where it's draw 2, lose 2, or draw something like that. Anyways, Very good card. I think this is going to be popular for common. This is the type of draw spell you're going to want. If you can manage to get this trigger, great. If you can't, not that bad of a card. So this actually lands around a 4 for me as well. Maybe even, I want to say borderline 5, but I don't think it's that powerful. All right, depressurize 1 and a, oh god, oh lord. Depressurize 1 and a black instant. Target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn. If that creature's power is 0 or less, destroy it. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. For 1 and a black is fine, but you're only going to be able to destroy certain things, so probably lands between a 2 and a 3 for me. Dubious Delicacy, 2 and a black, food, flash. When it enters, up to 1 target creature gets -. So it's kind of a food that removes people. Then it's got the food thing, or you can sack it, target opponent loses 3 life. Interesting. I like this a lot, honestly. I don't think it's crazy. But I do like it a lot. So I'm going to say it lands between a 3 and a 4 for me. Elegy Acolyte, 2 and 2 black, human cleric, 4/4 with lifelink. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Now this is 1 or more creatures, so per player in Commander, but in Limited, just 1. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the bound for this turn, to create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token, which can then die on future turns to trigger this again. Yeah, this is very powerful. This is like a 7 out of 10. Embrace Oblivion, 1 black sorcery. Sack an artifact or creature, destroy target creature or spaceship. With the amount of artifacts and creatures, I think this is probably going to be beneficial, but just keep in mind that it's kind of, you're kind of 2-for-1ing yourself here, so be careful with that. Probably lands around a 3. Entropic Battle Cruiser, 3 and a black spacecraft station. Cool. So it does nothing when it enters, but very quickly, whenever an opponent discards a card, they lose 1 life. So you've got to get this up to its top thing, or you have to have other discard means. Flying Deathtouch, 3/10. Whenever this spacecraft attacks, each opponent discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. Gotcha. Each opponent. That tells me it's a commander card right there. But I do think this is fine in Limited. I just don't think it's great. 4 mana do nothing is not what you want to be doing. 4 mana do this is also not what you want to be doing. So this is landing like at a 3 or 4 for me, which is really bad for a rare. I'm not very happy if I open that as my rare. Fowler's Faithful, 2 and a black, human wizard, 3/1. When it enters, destroy up to 1 other target creature. If that creature wasn't dealt damage this turn, its controller draws 2 cards. Ew, so you really need to do damage to that creature. You do not want its controller drawing 2 cards. I do not like this card because that downside's going to hit sometimes, and that's going to ruin your game, basically. Yeah, I don't love this card. I think it's probably around a 3 because of that. Fell Graveship, 2 and a black spacecraft. When it enters, mill 3, then return a creature or spacecraft from graveyard to hand. Okay, so it does something for 3, and then it's a 3/2 flying lifelinker if you get it to 8. That's fine. I don't think that's great, but that's fine. Graveblade Heavy, 3 and a black human soldier. As long as you control an artifact, this creature gets +1/+0 and has Deathtouch. Sure, so it's probably going to be a 4/4 with Deathtouch most of the time, but that's still kind of just on level, so probably around a 3. Black hasn't been impressing me so far, honestly. I think the other colors so far, white and blue, have been much more powerful. Much more powerful. We are, however, got a lot of cards left, and Scryfault is taking its time. It said this is going to be a longer video, and you are going to like it. Come on. Really? Y'all, this is getting a little ridiculous, in my opinion. Come on. Let's try it again. Boop. Well, I guess Scryfall decided it's not responding to us anymore. Alright, let's try this. Let's just go... Oh, there we go. Just had to wait. Glad that worked. Great. Graph kill, 3 and a black, instant, exile target creature or spacecraft. So you're paying 1 more than murder here without the double black though. But it's exile and it hits spacecrafts. I think it's fine, but I think it's a little expensive. So just keep that in mind. It's probably between a 3 and a 4. Graph pack, Monoist, 2 and a black human scout, 2/1 flying, dies, create a 2/2. So you're getting a total of 4/3 out of this, and it is a flyer. That's fine, but nothing crazy, between a 3 and a 4. Hole Carver, 1 black, 1/1 with Deathtouch, artifact, robot, assassin. I mean, that's a fine 1-drop, 1 mana, 1/1 Deathtouch is no surprise here, but it is an artifact for those synergies, so you know what? 3 or 4. Hilder Blade. Oh god, my brain does not want to pronounce that right. 1 black, equipped creature gets +3/+1, but it is equipped 4. At the beginning of your end step, if an online opponent left, it's going to let you attach it, right? Yeah, attach this equipment to a creature you control. Okay, so that's a pretty big buff right there. I do like that a lot. That being said, you're going to have to really play into the void mechanic, so I'm probably going to give it around a 4, maybe even a 3, but if you have the right deck, it could be pretty good. Hymn of the Faller. There's a gnat flying around. Jeez. Sorcery. So let's see. Surveil 1, draw a card, and lose 1 life. 2 mana. If an online permanent left, draw another card. Okay, cool. Again, if you're playing into Void, this is a very, very good card. If you're not, it's okay, but it's not great. Insatiable Skittermaw, 2 and a black. Oh, I didn't even give us a rating. If you're playing into Void, it's like a 5. If you're not, it's probably like a 3. Insatiable Skittermaw, 2 and a black. Insect Horror, 2/2. Menace. Beginning of your end step, if an online permanent, put a +1 counter. So it can get bigger. That being said, 2/2 Menace isn't great. Again, you're going to have to play into Void a lot. You're going to have to really play into that, and I don't know if we're going to be able to. 1 and a black, whenever you sack another creature or artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. That's just a pretty decent vampire cleric. I mean, it's probably going to get bigger, but 2 mana, 2/2 is fine. With if you're playing into Void, you're probably going to get that trigger a good couple times. So that breaks into the 4, maybe bordering on 5, but probably closer to 4. Monoist Circuit Feeder, 4 and 2 black, Nautilus, 4/4 flying. Whenever it enters, till end of turn, target creature you control gets +X/+0, and target creature an opponent controls gets -0/-X, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Very good. That's very good. Big buff on a creature you have, probably kill a creature they have, and you get a 4/4 out of it, and it's flying. I think that's decent. I'm not going to lie. For an uncommon, that's doing a lot, and it is 6 mana, but I think it's doing a lot. So I'm going to say it gets a 4 bordering on 5 for me. 1 mana, 4/1 Defender. That's massive in terms of power, though. And you got to remember, this can station. This is a 1 mana station for 4. Very powerful. So I think this is actually a very good card because it's getting your artifact synergies. It's a 4/1. It can basically kill anything in the early game with Defender. And you can station for 4. So very powerful. Very happy to have that. I think that's probably breaking into the 4/5 category. Perigi, I don't know. Beckoner, 4 and a black, 4/5. Whenever it enters, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains when this creature dies. Return to the battlefield tapped under its own control. Sure. I guess you could like sack it and then get it back if you needed to for some reason. I mean, sure. Requiem Monolith, I don't know, that's probably like a 3. Requiem Monolith, 2 and a black, tap until end of turn, target creature gains. Whenever this creature is dealt damage, you draw that many cards and lose that much life. That creature controller may have this artifact deal 1 damage to it. Activate only as a sorcery. I was going to say, so it's going to have sorcery, right? Yeah, it does. Target creature gains whenever this creature is dealt damage. You draw that many cards and lose that much life. Interesting. Be like, you're not going to block me, or if you do, you're going to block me with a 1/1. That's a very powerful card, but I don't know if it's worth it. So I'm going to say that even though it's very powerful and draws a lot of cards, this is probably in the like 4-ish category for me because you got to be careful with this card. Scrounge for Eternity, 2 and a black, and since cost cast this, sack an artifact or creature, so getting some of your void triggers there. Return target creature or spacecraft card with mana value 5 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sure. Alright, get something pretty big back and get a lander token. That's pretty decent. Sathera, the Super Void. Alright, so this is just the like way better Grave Pact, but then it just gets horrible here at the end. So 2 and 2 black, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent chooses a creature they control and exiles it. Very good. But then at the beginning of your end step, if a player controls no creatures, sacrifice this and then put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control. 2 additional +1/+1 counters. which you don't want. You want it to stick around and keep doing that. This is incredible. This would have been incredible in limited. In constructed. It's still probably pretty good. That being said, I don't know if I would play it in limited. It's kind of a 4 mana do nothing. I think it lands around like a 4 because of that. Maybe even lower. So be very careful playing this card. In constructed, it's very powerful. I hate this version of it. But so reading the card doesn't explain the card. All right, Sunset Saboteur, 1 and a black, human rogue, 4/1, menace. Ward, discard a card. Whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature an opponent controls. Yeah, I don't love that. I do not love that, like, at all. I don't want to be putting +1/+1 counters on target creatures opponents control, and I don't think having a 4/1 menace is particularly powerful. When we could just get the artifact creature if we're wanting to station. I don't think aggro in this format is going to be that powerful, so this is probably pretty low for me. 2 or a 3, honestly. Saurian Dirgecraft. Here we go. 4 and a black spacecraft. When it enters, each opponent sacks a non-token creature. Sure. It's each opponent, so that's good, but in limited you have one opponent. And then it can be a 4/3 flyer, so I keep that in mind. But yeah, all right. I mean, they get to sack it, so they get to choose, right? Saurian, I'll give it like a 4. Saurian Void, or 3 or 4. Saurian Voidborn, 2 and a black, vampire, 2/2. Whenever this or another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, so we're getting another Blood Artist, basically. Yeah, basically. That being said, I don't think it's going to be broken. I mean, you're probably going to be leaning into the void triggers, right? So you want to sack a lot of things in this in black in this format. So you want to trigger this a good couple times, but I don't think it's broken. So I'm going to say it probably sits around a 4. Swarm Color, 3 and a black, flying. Whenever it becomes tapped, you may sack another creature or artifact. If you do draw a card, sure. That lets you sack some of those artifacts or creatures you're making that are tokens and then get cards out of them and trigger your void stuff. So that's decent. I'll give it between 3 and a 4. Temporal Intervention, 2 and a black, sorcery. It costs 2 less. So void, it costs 2 less, so that's good. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. That player discards that card. Okay, so you're, again, only going to play this in a void deck. If you do, 1 mana, make them discard is pretty good because you get to reveal their hand and choose. So that's pretty decent. I'll give that a 3 or a 4. Timeline Color, 2 black, Drix Warlock, 2/2 haste. You may cast this card from your graveyard using its warp ability. And then, of course, you can then cast it from the exile after the warp ability, but you do have to pay 2 life when you do that. I think that's fine. This is the type of thing where if you had to discard a card, like in like Dimir maybe, this would be a pretty good card to discard because you're still getting value out of it. Fine. Again, sits at a solid 4. Tragic Trajectory, 1 black sorcery. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end turn, but void, it gets -10 and -10. Again, very good if you're in void. That's gonna remove anything, basically. All right, let's see if Scryfall wants to like us this time around. Here's to hoping, or this video is going to be way longer than it needs to be, all because the internet is taking its time. Umbral Caller Zealot. 1 and a black human cleric, 3/2, sack another creature or artifact to surveil, but it is a sack outlet, so that's good. I think that, generally speaking, it's going to be tough to keep up with these sack synergies if you're not making enough tokens to sack. It's good that this lets you do creature or artifact, though, because you can do your lander tokens, your 2/2 robot tokens, your 1/1 flying drone tokens, and all those things. This sits at a solid 4 for me. Virus Beetle, 2 mana, 1/1. When it enters, each opponent discards, and then it's something to sack. This is exactly what you want in those sack decks. So, again, it sits at like a 3, probably for what it does, but in the right deck, it's a good card to have. Voidforge Titan, 4 and a black, 5/4 with void. Let's see, it says you draw a card and lose 1 life. Okay, sure, yeah, you're in step. So if you're triggering void a whole lot, you're gonna want to keep your foot on the pedal. Just be careful with that life loss. But yeah, I think this is probably pretty good. 5 mana, 5/4 is okay, but get you some cards, right? Get you some cards. It's okay. Probably sits at a 3 to a 4. Void Out, 3 and a black, Convoke, so that's nice, to destroy target creature. That's pretty good. Your creatures can help you cast this, so that's nice. Each creature you tap. So this could technically be a free destroy target creature, but to be fair, you're going to have a lot of creatures that can tap. I think this is good. This could catch people off guard if you don't have the mana for this. If you really need to spend something else, you can Convoke, which is nice. And yeah, I think this is great. I think this is probably a solid 4 for removal. All right. Zulfit, I don't know. Osteoharmonist. Sure. Osteoharmonist is what a crazy name. 1 and 2 black, human wizard, 2/3. Tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a skeleton in addition to its other types and has no abilities. Boo, this is going to be so good if it had abilities. But sure, you just get to bring it back as a skeleton. And activate only as a sorcery. This got weaker and weaker. That being said, it's an okay creature size with a pretty good tap ability. So again, run it if you can, but it probably sits between a 4 and a 5. All right, our last one, 0-point ballad. X and a black, destroy all creatures with toughness X or less. You lose X life. If X is 6 or more, return a creature card put into a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. That's going to hit you for a lot of damage. I think you got to be extremely careful with this card. And I'm going to say, honestly, this isn't great unless you think you're going to have a lot of toughness and you're going to kill something with not a lot of toughness. If you're not playing it that style of deck, I would not play this card. And I still think it's dangerous even if you do. Be careful. Probably gets like a 3 to 4 for me, which is kind of sad. Honestly, black was a little depressing there. I'm not going to lie. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know in the comments what your favorite card was. I definitely want to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, like it, comment anything else you guys want to say to us as we finish out these videos. I hope everyone's having a great, Wednesday, right? And we've got 2 more colors left. If you guys did enjoy it, like I said, let us know. You can subscribe. We've got Twitch, all sorts of places for you guys to follow and communicate with us. We got a Discord, etc. And yeah, we would love to hear from all of you guys. You guys, what makes Worldsicles so awesome. I can't wait to record the next one of these, and I'm sure you guys can't wait to see it tomorrow. Would love to see you there, but until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.